All right, good morning or good afternoon, everybody. This is Jared Napolitano here for World 2020 streaming coverage, Game 2 of the first pod, 4 a.m. Eastern one, 10 a.m. CET. We are about to start. I will be doing the matchup between Bastian and Dylan, or Zlorfic and Dylan, which is Bastian and Timo, respectively. And it should be a really interesting one. Bastian's going to be Dark Side. So hopefully everyone can hear me okay and see my screen okay. So Timo is 1-0. Updating the matchup information here. We got, looks like, carbon chamber testing versus diplomatic mission to Alderaan. Okay, great. Thanks, show. Light side Timo, dark side Bastian. Game 2. All right. So again, welcome. This is a matchup. Both players are German. And Bastian activates his 7. Timo pulls the Goldenrod shield. I guess the biggest fear there is probably, at this point, Java Space Cruiser V, just to make sure that Bastian doesn't maybe audible and try to attack the Tanner right off the bat. So Bastian goes to deploy a location with his objective. He does hit his audience chamber pull, which missing that is always a pain for, it looks like, this flip version. Back a couple years ago, it was more popular to see the non-flip with IG88 to just do the tunneling and the force pile to get the key cards. But Sebastian deploys Despair Virtual, which is uploaded at the very beginning of the game when any methods necessary is played. Nothing too unexpected here. We have Boba Fett Virtual and his Blaster Rifle Virtual, which Lenny Rubin's player card, which is really gave this deck some more viability. And then recently with the He's All Yours Bounty Hunter interrupt, which allows a bounty hunter to move for free. So it makes the blaster rifle text, even though it says use 2, it makes that free since relocation is a type of move. So, but it doesn't look like Bastian's actually playing that. But he moves the audience chamber, flips, draws a card, and passes the turn. So this matchup in general, obviously Diplo wants to flip, go wide, get the trains in, set up celebration. So carbon chamber testing wants to kind of bunker the AC initially and then utilize Scum to go battle on its terms, constantly retrieving force with Scum ability and also with the objective. And there's a lot of tools that are at carbon chamber testing's usual disposal to evade out of a battle and then counter beat again on Darkseid's turns. Definitely a deck that needs to hold up against mains like it used to be throwing remains when they were more popular, but now more so. He is the chosen one. Lightside definitely wants to throw a look at the audience chamber and disrupt and control the site, release the frozen captive. Doesn't cause the objective to go out of play, but it really swings all the momentum because then you have loop there with the lightsaber, probably Prophecy of the Force, could be a drain of 4, and then really just starts a steamroll from there. So I've played actually against this Timo. I'm not sure what build. I think he's played a couple different Diplo builds, and I'm not sure what this one is. It could be a speeders one. It could be more of a just a lot of good, solid rebel characters. Let me turn my video on so people can see me. I may go in and out depending on my toddler daughter may want to make an appearance, so we'll play that by ear. So here comes Bastian playing None Shall Pass on Jin as Timo tries to set up an undercover spy to block that drain of 2. It's +1 from Despair with Jabba's Prize there. 4 strains are +1. Again, there's a lot of synergy here. This was in the tweak set, so this was even virtual set 1, but back in March, it got changed a bit to add power +3 in every single battle, as long as Jabba's Prize is with Scum, this last line of the text. And then it also prevents it from going out of play, which is always done, but it makes the characters deploy +1 there. I think that might have been on the old text, but it just really enables some bunkering on the audience chamber. So None Shall Pass is played. Timo grabs it. Probably a good idea given how many rebels are in his, or presumably in his Diplo deck. And then he plays Battle Plan to hopefully slow him down. One of the things about carbon chamber testing is the activation isn't great. It has a couple alternative means of activation, like the console virtual here, which as long as you have Frozen Captive on table. I've seen a lot of versions play wipe them out, all of them, again, for some more unconventional activation. Bastian uses his audience chamber pull to deploy Lady Proxima, a solo character, which kind of timed me now with all the virtual set 13 cards that related to Watch Your Step and Shadow Collective and Smugglers, and the solo movie was really one of the main themes, that and Inquisitors from the Rebel series. So Bastian transfers the gun to IG-88 and the Frozen Captive, which will allow IG-88 now to start tunneling for key cards. The transfer of the gun makes sense because Fett's a lot easier to hit. He is defense value 5, but IG-88 has this text where he can lose 1 to cancel a Weapon Drawn Destiny, or Weapon Destiny targeting him. So essentially, Lightside has to draw 6/6 to hit him with a lightsaber. And really can't hit him with just a one-shot weapon. So it's safer there, as opposed to staying on Fett, who after he does after he does the move, and after he does this likely evasion of the once per game exchange, his purpose is kind of done, unless there's like a hidden weapons. But there's probably Django Fett as well in the deck, so it's kind of like he has his role, he does it, and then he becomes a little more expendable. So again, this is game 2. Both players won their first game, obviously with the opposite sides. And that's Bastian's a defending 2-time world champion, so he's a heavy favorite in every game he plays, basically, except maybe against even people like Justin Desai. Like, they just played the online championship series. That was a really good match. So I wouldn't say either was a heavy favorite either way, but he's definitely at the top of the pyramid right now, coming off two world champion wins, a really good performance all year in the online championship series. His team won the online Euro Cup event. Obviously just an excellent player and really good guy, and his tutorials on the YouTube page are something worth checking out if you are a new and returning player. He's up to 4 now Jedi Trading Academy videos where it talks through gameplay. Recently did one on the new objective, Shadow Collective, based off the Solo and Dryden Boss and Maul. So check those out if you're a new returning player, or even if you're just a active player. They're great videos. And Dylan, or Timo, he recently came back to the game. It might not even be a full year. At most, it's 2 years. Very active player. I played against him a lot, and he's a good guy, and just started streaming. So he may stream this weekend as well. So keep a lookout. Dylan85 is his Twitch handle. And obviously, since he's an active player, has a lot of good perspectives on games and matchups. So Jin goes back to the audience chamber now. Block that drain. Timo puts Ray onto the Taniv. Radis is on there as well. Plays all wings. Gets the Falcon, which you'll see a lot in Diplo, to do the double move. So you don't have to rely on Mon Mothma to get Chandrila out and do the intermediate move. You can just move there and then use the Falcon's text to do the once per game additional move. It's a virtual set, 6 card, once per game, make an additional move. So that comes in handy in a lot of decks. One of the things I like it in, or one of the utility of it, is with Stalker Virtual being so popular in the meta. With Legend or some other decks, you can move one location. Stalker doesn't want to follow you to Octo. You get stuck there where they can't drain, they can't shuttle down, because it has the same rules as Dagobah. And then make the second move somewhere else, which then would exhaust Stalker's follow ability. So it's kind of like a look here, okay, now I'm gone type thing. So Lady Proxima reveals 3 cards. This is where Bastian and Carbon Chamber Testing will start an engine of finding more characters. Again, you want solidifying the audience chamber, and then once it's ready, it can go on the offensive with some strong aliens and some strong bonuses from Scum and Villainy and from Despair, and really start recurring its cards. And obviously, no very small loss piles here. We're just in turn 3 still. He gets Erica Virtual out, which is an interesting card right now. If you're playing against Legend where Luke gets placed out of play, she can really be helpful in retrieving that force once per control phase for Darkseid, since Luke wouldn't be present. She also works if Luke is in space on Red 5, which you'll see sometimes, or even just on a normal Rebel ship, like No Idea will sometimes do. Or if he's in a speeder, like EBO plays, because he won't be present at a site. But against, he is the chosen one, or watch your step. A lot of times Luke will be on the ground, so that text doesn't turn on. So Jabba Space Cruiser comes out. That is why Alderaan was pulled turn 1. And this is where he gets Mighty Job out for 2 force with the shield. It's really interesting because that Alderaan shield, I do feel like it's pulled a little too much. If it really changes a lot of the equation on an early turn, I think it makes a lot of sense. Like Hunt Down, you don't ever want Darkseid player to pull Blizzard 4 in traditional Hunt Down and get Vader for free on that turn 1. It could be the difference between, in the old ways, Visage of the Emperor might hit Darkseid then. So it could be a couple force really and slow them down a bit. Even in this deck, Timo probably pulled it. He didn't want him coming down. I guess if he had a way to get, I don't know what he could have done, but he would have maybe just killed, the droids. They get relocated, they come back up. It's not a huge swing in the game plan. So, Timo having 4 shields out, I apologize. I'm not positive he shield pulled one of them with an interrupt. I don't think so. So Bastian plays Uta solo virtual to break Jin's cover. That now puts Jin in a little bit of a pickle. She's going to have to run away. Or Timo does have 16 force to work with. Remember, every character is deploy +1. And a lot of times against Carbon Chamber Testing, going into the audience chamber can really be a trap. It can backfire. It can not be a good long play. But now Bastian will be putting through, 1 force drain damage at the system. He'll be finding cards he needs. That's another cool thing about Carbon Chamber Testing is and this you'll see a lot with Quiet Mind and Colony too, you don't have to drop a bunch to find things. You can keep your hand size reasonable so you can keep more cards in your deck face down, like late game, but you also don't want to, you pull the card you need. You don't have to draw 3 cards to find the one you're hoping for, and that really just improves efficiency overall with the deck. And then especially when you have like Carbon Chamber Test or Carbon Chamber Console Virtual and possibly Wipe, then you're getting 2 more force into that force pile each turn, 2 fresh cards to kind of look at. Maybe there's a card in your reserve deck you wish was in your force pile. Well, on the opponent's turn, you might be able to move it there, especially if you're able to track. or in like the late game where it becomes easier to kind of know what cards are where, so you can really pull that. Maybe you're looking for a barrier on the opponent's turn, and you just drew it for Destiny late in the other turn. So, yeah, some, the key S word with a lot of Star Wars CCG decks is synergy. A lot of things kind of working together, kind of really amplifying the impact of the individual cards. So now Timo with a lot of force pile deploys the Owen and Brew combo for free to the farm, deploys General Leia. It's an interesting choice because we saw that recently in the online championship series with Paul Myers playing General Leia, despite the fact that Leia Organa V is a rebel, so she works with the flip side of the objectives to retrieve or to add to your battle destiny. She also might create some synergy with Guts, which sometimes you got a lot of Guts coming here. You'll see sometimes in Diplo, and especially with Bale, who will go a lot of times in space, protect the Tana from weapons, and add 1 to 4 strains where you have an Alderaan with ability less than 4, I believe it is, not 5. I think I'm 99% sure it's 4. So General A doesn't work with that, but her being a general, her game text is so strong. It's she's definitely the one main character I think where it's toughest to decide in what deck, because there's a lot of viable options. A lot of the other, like Luke or Lando or Han, it's pretty easy to say, hey, this is my deck. This one fits best into it. Whereas Leia, you can often have 2 or 3 good options. So Timo deploys Chewbacca Protector, only 2 force, same size Leia, gets the use pile pull with I must be allowed to speak virtual. It's such a great card, works in so many decks, and really helps late side players find what they need. You just had 13 cards to pick from. Kind of one of those things that, maybe a new returning player might be like, oh, what's the big deal? You get to pull another card. But it's almost like you're expanding your hand size. And that's what like Rescue in the Clouds does too, where you're like, okay, well, instead of 8 cards in my hand, now I have kind of 11 and I can pick the best 9. And that's where when you have a pull like this, in a way you almost have like a 20 card hand, or in this case it would have been like a 21 card hand. And you're basically saying, all right, well, I got my 8 that I'm locked into, but let me find another 1 key card that I need. So he sets up Celebration, consolidates Owen and Brew, leaves Jin at the audience chamber, which either is just a plan to Hoojix and block that during it too, or a misplay. I don't think Timo would forget to move her away, because this could this could really result in a lot of force loss. So he plays Preliminary Scan to get a 5th shield out. That's one thing I wish Gem did, because it doesn't tell you how many shields you've pulled. So, someone comes into a game or someone might have missed something. I don't know how many of these 5 came off of the starting effect versus how many might have come from alternative means like Perimeter Scan Virtual. So, Force Transfer 1, he loses I'm guessing, so Timo probably doesn't think he needs any more shields because he loses the shield puller. Or, I shouldn't say that, because there's plenty of means of retrieval in Diplo, so he could get it back, but he definitely doesn't want to top deck maybe some key card he doesn't have in his hand. Proxima pulls Zam Wessel, star of early of episode 2, Attack of the Clones, into hand. Strong character, draws battle destiny on her own, has that 2 force loss if opponent's leader is lost. And Bastian will then tunnel for another card. So 20 to pick from, maybe it's 21, but regardless, he takes a card. And looks like he's planning out his turn right now. retrieve the force with the objective. So he deploys P59 to Mos Eisley. I mean, this is one of the key things in approaching Diplo is disrupting that Mos Eisley shuffle, because that can just really open up possibilities. It really, it enables light side to be on an extra site, even though they can only be liable to one. So they can retrieve with Celebration, they get extra drain through, and they can evade when they want, they can attack when they want. It does a lot. I know when I play against Diplo, I always want to make sure not to over deploy anywhere until that might be locked down. So Dengar comes down, so now he's got 3 shots, and Dr. Avazin, good old classic from Premier, who could operate. Obviously he's been around a long time, he's a really powerful card, there are a lot of counters. Here comes Bosk as well. And it looks like Bastian's going. He's got Ponda Baba Virtual, who's a really strong card. You can add that Destiny to Attrition, which is +2 with theirs, and that really and Bastian plays Hondo Onaka, from Rebels, and I think Clone Wars. He was in both of those. The Audience Chamber. So it looks like 2 battles coming here. It's kind of funny. He's got Scum of Villainy on. He's got no lost pile. So even if he were to do 2 battles, he's got nothing to retrieve. But it's like a good problem. So no, keep your eyes open to stop all weapons, but he does have a dodge to subtract 3 from the draw. He draws a 3, so that's gonna miss. Here comes a leadership to Rebel leadership to add to Battle Destiny. Bastian grabs it without hesitation, so clearly he use that as a key card to take out of circulation for light side players. So Ponda Baba adds it to Attrition. He still has 2 shots left with T59 and the second shot with Dengar. Dengar is probably going to be very popular this weekend, with Watch Your Step being popular since he adds a Battle Destiny. When the Reflections 2 objectives on the table. So Bastian draws high for Battle Destiny of 5. He's got 25 power with an Attrition draw coming up. And Timo draws low, just a 1. All those aliens are immune, as well as P59 is immune less than 4 naturally. The objective makes all aliens less than 4, so it looks like Bastian's going to lose nobody. And Bastian drew just enough to make sure that 2 characters are going. Or I shouldn't say just enough yet, it's like extra to spare, so 2 of Timo's characters are going to go to lost pile here. He plays Old Ben to revive Chewie. We'll see a common canceller of Cold V Virtual to stop that type of interaction. So Chewie's back, so he'll be able to shuffle, retrieve to shuffle Leia, so she's safe. But now he's going to battle here, and this has to be a Hujix, or it's going to be really rough. Bastian's going to take the shot, although probably not going to change much, but might as well. At the very least, he just has more information of what card is where. it doesn't reduce forfeit. And he definitely doesn't want to remove it via like a sniper or anything like that. So he draws the Gick. So this is interesting. Yeah, the second battle destiny is also kind of low, but he gets that +1 because of Jabba's Prize. Again, just another, there's like 5 different reasons why the Audience Chamber becomes very difficult for light side to break through, while Jabba's Prize at Audience Chamber opponent's battle destiny draws there +1. So it's a light side card, so it's referring. So Timo doesn't draw that high. He's going to have to peel 9 or play a Hoojix here. 9 or, I always forget. No, Jin's only forfeit 5. Her and Poe I always get mixed up of who's forfeit 5 and who's forfeit 6. So it's going to be peel 10 or a Hoojix. And if it's peeling, then I think Timo definitely forgot to move her. Because otherwise that move made no sense to leave her there. And I almost wonder, I probably would have, I don't know, I'm sure there's a good reason for it since it's Bastian, but I wonder if I would have rather battled the Audience Chamber first to better bury the Hoojix and make it less likely to recur and come back via like celebration. But now if he plays it, you know, yeah, so he has it, and the Hoojix and combo, right? It's you know, if there's some newer returning players out there, Hoojix is just such a staple card going all the way back to 1996, as we're now celebrating the 25 years of Star Wars CCG, 25th World Championships. You know, it's interesting looking back at some of the cards from the very early sets that are still around and popular and essential. Yeah, so now Timo's going to retrieve that Hoojix, and I mean, a lot of my play style is often a lot of battling. I'm not the best control deck player, so a lot of times I like to try to get rid of that Hoojix, whether it's via a grabber or via, you know, some funky stuff like pod racer collision. It's just once that card is floating around, it allows the player who has it to play very differently. They can take more risk once they have it. They can go wider. It's really hard for the opponent to force out 2 Hoojixes in the same turn. So, but whereas if it's, you know, out of circulation, like if solo can't play it from Lost Pile, you know, it really makes the player play more conservatively, which kind of has a compounding effect again of, hey, you can't go to the extra site to force drain me because you have to respect that I might attack you if I know you don't have a Hoojix. So Timo does the Cantina Shuffle, again, another thing from way back in 1995, the premier expansion, to have this card capability. So now he'll retrieve the 2, shuffle Chewie in. And now Sebastian will be forcing, you know, two damage at the Mos Eisley, 2 damage at the Audience Chamber, and 1 at Nal Hutta, so that's 5 damage. Timo's going to be retrieving 2. He could dance around a little bit to get 2 through. Sebastian's ahead. Actually, so it's 32 to 32. I guess not one less. Let's took another card to the table, but I often find too, playing against Diplo, I feel like their life force goes down quickly because it puts a lot of cards on the table. So a lot of times as a dark side player, I'm like, okay, good, yeah, keep putting stuff out, and then, you know, they don't have as much to deal with. But you know, he's got celebration going early, so this game might be a lot of back and forth. Both sides have retrieval mechanisms. Since we did see Bastian playing the non-combo Gick, I'm guessing there is I'm not guessing it. I'd be shocked if there wasn't a master move combination to cancel celebration and pull the Gick out of the reserve so you don't have that floating 1. I don't think that CCT is a deck that would play the non-combo masterful move for the higher destiny in exchange for, you know, not being able to cancel celebration. Sometimes you'll see if a really strong space deck that could take a system and cancel celebration by controlling the system. Sometimes you'll see that Destiny 6 masterful move, but in this, unless, you know, it's possible Bastian may rely just on the force battle pulse to find the Gick, but that's usually a card that I like to think good players, it's really hard to catch a good player with no gick early in the game. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he even has a master move in his hand right now. But just, again, it's all these like kind of little things in a game of, you pull the gick, okay, now your opponent knows they have it. Whereas you might be able to force the opponent to overcommit somewhere, thinking they're going to overflow you, and then you just pull the gick, and now they might have, hurt themselves by over deploying and going for a blowout when that wasn't there. So the objective flips, which is good for Timo. Now he's got extra battle destiny battle, kind of a Hujix in itself in a way. He's adding now 1, 2, 3 to his battle destiny. Darkside's adding 3 power in every battle because of Despair and Jabba's Prize and Scum being with him. So this is going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of battles in this game, a lot of retrieval. Again, this is Jared Napolitano. We're doing game 2 of the 4 a.m. Eastern or 10:00 hour CET, we'll say, for European time pod. 2 of 6 games. This is going to be Swiss strength of schedule today. There's 4 pods throughout the weekend, 98 players, about 24 in each, 24, 25. So there's going to be a lot of Star Wars games this weekend on Jump. Obviously a great resource that the community has, especially in these difficult times of the pandemic. It's good that we can at least still play and maybe take our mind off some of the crazier things going on. And the activity on Jump has definitely spiked. I think some people enjoy having a different type of hobby. I shouldn't say enjoy, but are pleased that there is an alternative option for things to do when a lot of other things that we enjoy doing are not allowed to happen right now. So Bastian retrieves the objective. He takes Prince Sizor into hand with Lady Proxima, and here comes It's a Hit. And that's a card that can get really annoying if you don't have a second grabber. It's free, it's a used interrupt, it circulates, and he's got It Could Be Worse. Wow. So this is interesting. So now he's got 2 cards that can really mitigate some damage here, and Bastian has used his grabber on Rebel Leadership, Virtual. So this is a big turn. I mean, we talk a lot in this game about like stabilizing and kind of, standing yourself up and building up a I don't want to say impenetrable, but a tough to break through board state. And when a turn like this, when your opponent is anticipating losing 4 extra cards that you didn't, and not only that, but you put 2 more cards from your hand back into your life force to work with. Obviously, there's less cards for you to have answers for, but here comes a Rebel Barrier to stop Arson with Blaster Rifle, a really strong card. When I was testing for Worlds, I realized I think that all 6 of my dark decks that I was considering had Aura in them. Her and P59 are kind of sneaky in that they can play in just about every deck. Whereas, you play Imperial Entanglement, you're not playing any aliens, or Carbon Chamber Testing, you're not playing a lot of Imperials, but you can hunt down Virtual, the new card, that you can play Bounty Hunters. So this is interesting. Bastian goes really wide, makes sure that, or ensures that Timo does not control a single location, which flips him back, and now makes battling a lot more viable. Out comes Guri for 2 Force with Professor, or not Professor, Goldenrod. So, again, it's 2 out of 10, so it's not probably make or breaking any key decisions, but still, it was a conservative shield play, and if he had the shield puller, I think Timo's pretty happy with his shield setup right now. So it's still Bastian's deploy phase. He will deploy 4 Lam with Concussion Rifle, who's really a card against like Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight right now to cancel his immunity, since he's such a hard character to remove from the table and yet swings the matchup so much while he's out. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of him this weekend as well. Bastian puts all his forces at the system. Still his move phase. He's got 3 forces to work with. He moves Bosk into the Cantina. I wonder if he'll move another guy in, and then just have 3 guys at each of the Cantina. And Mos Eisley, again, realizing the importance of trying to shut off that Cantina shuffle. At least turning off the damage aspect of it. And then he moves Zam away from Dusel to Harsh Moisture Farm now. For Timo to flip back, I think he needs to just control another system. So, yeah, so he needs another ship. So that's an interesting play by, obviously a strong play. So now the only way that Bastian flips him back, or that Timo flips back, he's got to move one of these ships away, or he has to have another ship, which, you know, both are possible. But if he moves a ship away, that's definitely going to make him vulnerable here and open up the chance for Bastian to win the system and cancel Celebration, which would really be a big point of the game. Okay, so Bastian pulls a card with IG-88 on Timo's turn, and then Timo drains for 1 of the Dune Sea. That's the only force drain he's got. He can retrieve 2 or 3 with Celebration, depending on where he wants to set up, where he wants to end up, I should say, with Leia and Chewie. If he wants to stay inside in the Cantina, or that would probably be a better proposition. There's only 1 gun there. Boss he's really strong with Chewie. He's power +3, so he's power 7 total. And he makes it so that they can only draw 1 Battle Destiny. So even if he had another leadership, he could put on the grabber, but Bosk would stop Lightside from drawing 2 Battle Destiny that way. The timers are pretty equal. Life Force counts, it's 27 to 29 in favor of Timo. This looks like it's going to be a close game. You know, Bastian's going to be able to keep that loss power pretty low, though. I have a feeling he's going to be the initiator of more battles. And then if you are constantly putting Lightside on their heels in this matchup, it obviously favors Darkside then. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like Bastian has a barrier, he might be able, Imperial barrier, he might be able to bait some type of attack at the Moisture Farm. I think it's pretty clear that Lightside's not going to be winning the Audience Chamber at this point. There's just too much forfeit there. Okay. Alright, hang on one moment, I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I step away for a minute. Alright, so I'm back. Let's see, what did I miss? It looks like Timo retrieved a couple key characters with Bale and Jin. I think I saw that drain, so I don't think I missed too much. Yeah, so now it's getting to the point in the game where there's some real strategy. Every decision's going to kind of, or has potential to compound, so would not be surprised to see some deliberation in these decisions. So Timo's move phase, he moves Luke, Rebel Scout, to the Moisture Farm. And then Dylan will draw a few cards. Or more than a few, but and Timo will play Rescue in the Clouds, find a key card. He pulled Solo with the Where's Han Interrupt, came out a few sets ago. So that's interesting that he's got solos. That's another, and Diplomatic Mission Alderaan, you'll see some different Hans, but solos, really good, especially if you're playing General Leia, because then he can contribute to retrieving when you initiate battles with the Resistance agent. He could play that interrupt from Lost Pile, which, yeah, Diplo is, it's a few ships, a lot of characters, and then probably a lot of interrupts. Kind of go a couple different ways of damage mitigation of, like, we saw it could be worse, it's a hit. You might see those, or you could see like Menace Fades, which would shut off bonuses. I haven't seen Menace Fades yet, but that's a really good card against like ISB. But I also wonder if you're playing Diplo, you might almost, it's a really tough matchup to beat ISB as Diplo. So I just wonder if you kind of just cut it and say, hey, I'll deal. It might just be a loss. At some point in these type of events, you're not going to win. You're not going to be able to put yourself in a favorable position with every single possible matchup. So sometimes you need to say, hey, that one, best case scenario, it's close. So maybe I just say, almost seed that matchup. Might become a lunch break, as people joke about sometimes. If you just see a really brutal matchup, it starts off poorly, you just kind of concede on the earlier side. Give yourself 30, 45 minutes to just, maybe even more, an hour, get lunch, refresh, because these events can be long and time consuming. So Bastian grabs a card from Force Pile, he retrieves a force with the objective, he's going to get a Drain 2 through. This is going to be a lot back and forth, because I don't play, I've rarely ever played Diplo. Have played CCT Flip a little bit. I wonder what Bastian's thinking here. I wonder if he's like, I'm just going to try to win that system. Once I turn on Celebration, I win the game. That could be one approach. Because, right now he's doing 4 damage, retrieving 1. Light side's doing 1 damage, retrieving 3. Plus it's still got Walkling. It still has Leia, who, if she initiates, can retrieve. Lost Piles are pretty small considered. Hand sizes are like medium. This could really be a lot of back and forth. So, just a quick PSA, Dan was teasing it on the main account. There's some giveaways this weekend for their booster packs, custom-made booster packs with some prepped. I'll put this in the chat just so people. And they're pretty neat. And he has an exclusive white border foilized virtual card in these packs. He's got 17 total. 8 or 9 will be given out on the main account this weekend, and then another 8 or 9 on the other streamers' accounts, such as this. So maybe we'll do like a Star Wars CCG trivia or Star Wars trivia or some means of having a winner from the chat to give away. So those are kind of a neat thing, part of the promotional and marketing efforts for the weekend. So Bastian put a couple things in space with Woof, who subtracts 1 from Battle Destinies. Elson Hinther building up power there. He puts Prince Shy over to the Dune Sea, who gets barriered. And now it looks like Timo's going to go grab a Rebel with Antilles Maneuver Virtual, probably Captain Ramus. He's maybe the only one who could deploy for only 1 force. Yeah, because he deploys -1 aboard Tantive, or I think it's just Tantive. Pull this up. Captain Ramus. Yeah, just aboard Tantive makes it immune. Less than to lateral damage on less than 5. Now Bastian wants another guy to the Cantina. Cad Bane, he's got 5 force left, 4 force in reserve. Probably see battle here, yep. Okay, at the system now. Oof. Oof. 4 battle destiny here. This might be trouble for Timo. If Bastian can then just take this system, it's going to be really tough, because then light side's paying to drain, they're not retrieving. They're going to really be on their heels. So Bastian has the first action. It looks like the timer's on him, so I think they pass back and forth. Nothing interesting, no interrupts or whatever in the battle, so we just have Battle Destiny. We got a 3. Oh, excuse me, a 5. Too much forfeit. So the droids will go for sure, since there's the magical move combination. I wonder, that's interesting. It must have just been eluding. Either it's eluding him, or he felt like other cards had a high priority and that he would deal with this celebration situation in due time. Total Battle Destiny is 17, power 40, and Light's Battle Destiny is going to be -1. All the dark ships are immune less than at least 5, I believe. That's big that Timo has a all wings reporting in combo to substitute 6. Yeah, because General Karazin adds 2 to that. Any freighter, I believe it is. I wonder what maneuver. Oh, and then R2D2, do they add to maneuver? Nope. Why is this maneuver 6? Oh no, maneuver, substitute 5. Total Battle Destiny 6, my bad. Yeah, because he's not flipped. If he was flipped, he'd be adding another 1, 2, 3 to that Battle Destiny, but Timo's going to lose a bunch of dudes here. It looks like it's going to be 2 more guys, maybe just the whole ship, the whole Falcon. Oh no, he probably wants to keep Lando. So Guri again prevents, he just lost Guri. She did her job in preventing Ramus from adding Battle Destiny. Or no, I'm thinking of Bale. I always get Bale and Ramus mixed up. They do different things. But Radis is here. And then there goes, yeah, so Antilles and Ray, yeah, up here. He's still got to lose another guy, which is probably, it's going to be one of the 2 good guys in Ray or General Karazin, so he loses Ray. And now Bastian has control of that system. If he's going to be drawing another 4 Battle Destiny, that's going to be trouble. So usually that always report in is extra helpful when, you know, opponent's capping you like Guri just did. So if you're planning on 2 Battle Destiny, oh wait, Guri comes down, now you're getting 1. You can play all wings reporting in since you're substituting. You're not drawing 2 destinies, so that's an interesting rules interaction, but that helps, you know, light side have a loophole to get around such a powerful card like Guri in space. Now Guri, interesting to see how popular she is this weekend, because the new Help Me Obi-Wan Kenobi and Queen of Mercenary combination card, which is really strong, probably in almost every deck, since it does like 6 different things, but one of them is that it excludes a character less than ability 2, so every droid, and guys like Greedo or Stormtrooper Garrison or FN, the one that cancels the game text, I forget his name, 2-1 something or 2-0. So she can be a liability then, because it works in space too. Light side could exclude Guri from battle, still get all their battle destinies like Watch Your Step, because it works with Smuggler or Jedi. But maybe that's the key reason, is that there might not be, I don't think there's a lot of Smugglers or Jedi in here. You got Luke, you got Chewie, you got Han. General Calrissian, I think he turned good now. I don't think he's just a gambler. Still gambling, but he's not smuggling. So Timo retrieves 3. Still holding on to Celebration. I just don't think he has enough damage potential here. And then Bastian plays the imbalanced combo. I think he played that last turn too. Maybe he just keeps getting that to kind of limiting it. With that first turn grab of None Shall Pass, that allows Bastian to keep cycling through that imbalance combo or any other interrupt that he wants to play. Timers are just about even. Dark side's at 23 face down plus 3, so 26. Light side's at 22 down, 21 down, or 22 down, 5 in hand, so 27. So they're even in life force, but Bastian's dark side player definitely has a better control of board state. Here comes Solo to the Carbonite Chamber again, because if Light's going to win this game, they got to get damage through. But I don't know if that's going to be a viable route. Because, okay, put Solo down. Darkside's retrieving 1 every single turn. So that's only really a net of 1. Maybe he gets another drain of 1 through. He's got the celebration, but this trajectory favors Darkseid a lot because they're going to win the system pretty soon. I guess he could shuttle Hera up here. He's going for the beat, but I would imagine Bastian probably has kicked by now. I know we saw it drawn earlier. I can't imagine after he got one guy buried earlier in the game. I think it was Aura, maybe even another time. I can't imagine Bastian put Shizer into the situation knowing that the potential for a barrier and a counter beat, and that might be honestly Timo's top line to victory.
I'm surprised the amount.
I'm just checking the other game, see how that's going. Okay, so yeah, and actually, with that power plus 3 and very few weapons in Diplo, that might have also been another part of Bastian's reasoning. He may not have even had the gig, just knowing, hey, Shizer's covers soaks up 14, and there's I think just one character there. It's very unlikely that could have backfired. So Luke battles here against Zam. Darkseid wins the battle because they get the plus 3, so they're 7 plus 5. So now Lightside has 2 battle damage, which is not 2 battle damage and immune. Not a decision you see very often for Diplo. Usually they got to lose the guy because not much immunity, or they have a lot of power, a lot of good characters because they really want to win those battles and get the retrieval. But now they're not even flipped. So I mean, I guess. So for Timo to flip, that was a really good move. I mean, and that doesn't surprise me because obviously, well, not only is Bastian's one of the best few players in the world, and a Hall of Famer, but he plays Diplo too, so he, from time to time. So that was a good move to just flip him back and know that Timo was kind of boxed in then. If he wanted to ultimately get back to the 7 side, he'd have to seed the system, in effect. Because that's the other thing too. I'm not sure. There's a couple different Diplo builds out there, but I wonder if a build like this with the Falcon, I wonder if people who play Diplo more often than I do might know if that kind of telegraphs, hey, less ships. It might only be a couple ships. Play a bunch of all wings, report in to pull it, you do the quick move, and then you just load up Tantive and the Falcon to hopefully hold the system that way. And you might not need stuff like Bright Hope or Gold Leader and Gold Wand to help with that, but I think this is a matchup that favors Court of the Wild Gangster as well. So when Darkseid is scum, when Darkseid wants to battle, it kind of takes out that thing that Diplo is a deck that likes to battle. So it kind of is an advantage. Bastian plays or uses Lady Proxima, reveals some cards, no aliens. This is that engine of scum, because when he's battling, he's retrieving his guys, then he can either dig him out with IGD8 if he needs a certain one, or he can use Proxima to find them, so he's constantly replenishing his hand with, fighting forces. Okay, so just some updates I'm seeing on the other chat. Kieran won again. Tom Kelly won again. Really good players. No surprise they're both 2-0. So Bastian gets 4 string through at the audience chamber for 2. Moss Isley for 2. This is going to have to be another Hujic situation. So he's got solo at the carbonite chamber, so he can play an interrupt from Lost, which it looks like he's going to need. He left, Antilles and Tanev here. So this might be game right here, because Bastian's going to battle here first, kill solo. Then he doesn't have a way to get to his Hujics, and he's going to be power 8 plus 1 destiny. And they cover 11, so that's 19. So even before Bastian draws his 4 battle destiny and gets 3 extra power, he's only down 1. So this turn might be game. No, you know what it was? I think it was. He's not gonna get 4 again. Jabba, oh yeah, 4 llama adds with Jabba. Jabba adds with Mithranyu, who's an alien leader. So yeah, look at 3 destiny here. And that power just went up. That was interesting. I thought it was 18, but they're not. I wonder why the power here went up, unless it's like. Don't. Your total power in all battles is plus 30. But regardless, Bastian battles at the Cantina. He's going to hit Chewie, but Dylan has Odin Nesselord first aid combo to preserve his forfeit. So he's down 10. He's got 14 of forfeit to soak up. He is flipped, so he's going to be adding, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 to his battle destiny. So I'd be surprised if any overflow here. Yeah, then Bastian will have 3 more cards in his reserve deck. Definitely. That's interesting. I wonder if he just says, I'm going to battle at the Carbonite Chamber, get rid of solo, and then he just ends the game by battling and overflowing at the system for probably a good chunk. Yeah, I mean, this is like a dangerous loop that Scum can get into, where they just are always battling on their turn, retrieving constantly. There's no lost pile. It can get really circuitous, to use a word. So Timo draws a 3. He's going to be down, looks like 9. Yeah, no overflow here. So just checking the standings, round 2. Looks like DDM beat Silverblind. That's a good matchup. That was what the other stream, the flagship channel, twitch.tv/swccgpc. That was what they were streaming, so that ended. I wonder what DDM was playing for late. I'm sure it was something interesting, since he is a very, very creative deck builder. Joe Giannetti beat Brad Reinhold, and then, as he said, Kieran and Tom Kelly each won. So it's like 4 out of 12 games are resolved. Steam has 2 more battle damage to remove, and Bastian's in a commanding position here, especially after he takes the system. Like, Timo will survive in space. Well, no, I don't know if he's going to survive this turn, to be honest. There's going to be a lot of damage at Tatooine. he'll get only like a 3 plus to his battle destiny, so it's 11. It might not end the game. He might be able to squeeze out another turn, but to what end? He drain for 1 in El Hudda, 1 at Dune Sea. He's going to lose Celebration. And then, it's at the point there where, Bastian's just retrieving one's objective. If Timo did manage to put some more cards in Bastian's Lost Pile, just the shape out somewhere, get back. So Han's going to die here. I don't know why he did that. I guess his soul is going to die. So he might as well, but it's not stopping. Now when he ties. Yeah. That would have been cool if that could have put him over the hump. Maybe he was counting, or he could have got over the hump, retrieved and forced the objective. Gizmo, he says bad use himself. And this is where the big battle comes. Now Bastian only has 2 cards left in his reserve, so so he might not overflow by too much of the system. It's 1-1-3 Destiny again, so until he's in the tan of cover 11. So he's down to, let's say he's down 1 Battle Destiny, since Light Side's going to be adding, but actually, Wolf's going to subtract 1. This is going to shake out. My prediction here is it's going to be 4 over, let's go 5 overflow. Yeah, see, this is why I wouldn't have used Solo there. He said it himself, just, there's a lot going on in this game, so it would have been interesting if he didn't burn the Solo. He could have retrieved him with a Huja, or with Walkling, and maybe that extra Solo interrupt once per game capability comes in handy, but probably not. Bastian draws high for his first, that's a 5. And a 5-1 shall pass it. And I'm sure these don't surprise Bastian. He's been filtering out aliens, he knows a lot of battles, he knows where all his cards are, so this might be more than that 5 overflow. So Timo draws low, which is a 2. That will become a 1 because of Woof and add 3. So yeah, 8 overflow. I underestimated. So 8, that'll leave. Dylan has something to play with, but I just don't see a path now. Here goes Celebration. He does have a Hujix. Is that the second one, or am I not properly tracking? I thought it was in Lost Pile, but yeah. Okay, alright, so no, this is gonna have some more legs, but I think that still remains the same. Like, I just don't see how Dylan can come back here, unfortunately for him. I mean, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Bastian, like, there's just no way his life force is going to go below, like, 20 the rest of the game. So he's always going to have plenty of stuff to work with, plenty of cards to pick from with IG88. I wonder if he got any, like, type of trick for that large moisture farm battle with Erica. I mean, not that he needs Erica to be turned on to start retrieving force. You'd have to eliminate Loop to do that, but I don't think, that's something he needs or is banking on, obviously. So Timo's about to start his 7th turn. He's down 12 in face down and up 2 in hand. So he's down 10, but like I've been saying, board state favors Bastian a lot here. And now he's going to use Mitt. These guys got a couple different nicknames. So Mitt for short. This is obviously Grand Admiral Thrawn's full given name. And he's also called for short Threed, since this is Tom Haid, the cosplayer who was the 2016 world champion from the Yavin 4 region down near DC. So he's a good card. He fits in a lot of decks, especially scum decks. Especially a lot of times you'll have decks and you're like, oh, what's my one vulnerability? Oh, Starship Weapon. So, well, he helps with that. and there's no answer to him. His game text can't be canceled. You can't put like demotion on him since he's an Imperial. You can't use like Leia Virtual to cancel him as a leader. Imperial leader ability less than 4 or 5, I think is what her text is. So he's hard to get through. Having a power 3, good stats, even though he doesn't draw on his own. That leader comes in handy a lot with like Jabba, or not that I've seen him much, but like Boelo, or there's a lot of synergies with alien leaders. There's a lot more a lot more dark side alien leaders than light side, that's for sure. So that drain of 1 at Dune C goes through. Dylan flashes solo. Or no, he deploys solo. My bad. And deploys Commander Nara, the Carbonite Chamber. So this is tough. I mean, I don't blame Timo. It's World Championships. You definitely don't want to concede before it's like completely inevitable, but this does look tough. Now, if he can have a good battle here, I mean, is there any way? Yes, this is where again, like if he didn't burn the solo, and I don't know if he's got an all wings in his lost pile, like that would have been helpful because, well, not with Greedo now, but like if it was just all wings, he could have spun through and killed the ship, and that might have given him a little momentum here. But with Greedo down, worst case, Bastian loses to, so he goes non-combo, which it's not Paul Myers using him. You're using this card rather. It does still make sense if you're playing Chewie Protector, but otherwise the combo does even more. It excludes like Guri, like I talked about earlier. It does a lot. It doesn't cancel Stunning Leader, which the combo does. It doesn't make the opponent lose a force automatically. So light side wins, they retrieve force with the objective. And dark side's gonna have to lose both. Yeah, you guys lose both ships. So now this is interesting. I don't think if he moves the system, moves to Tatooine from now to, that's 3 battle destiny there. That's not probably viable. But he does battle with Leia. Retrieves another force. Like I said before, there's a lot of retrieval in this matchup, so aura fires, aura hits. That's not good, because now Leia's going to go away. Like, this is a tricky, like, I'm sure Bastian's just going to pull an alien and kill this guy. It could be any alien that draws on his own. He's going to be getting +3 in power, even. He could just, he could throw a dude here too and just flip him back after he puts another guy here because he won't control any locations. So he doesn't get that bonus, and he's only 4 for 3. He's already played. I mean, I'm losing. The Hoojixes are somewhere. I think pretty sure he retrieved 1, right? Yeah, retrieves it as a result of winning that last, or now as initiating the battle because of Leia and Solo. So Sight's gonna clear, but Light Side's gonna have to peel 1, which John covers in from use pile. So Lady Proxima finds Django Fett. Now we could eliminate Luke here. He's going to retrieve an alien, non-maintenance. You can get an EPP back with this, right? Yeah, so you can get R back if you wanted. And there's the concede. So that was a good match. There's a lot of back and forth, but I think Darkseid just has a little bit better of a retrieval, recursion loop of characters, and it's a tough matchup for Diplo since, like I said, like Diplo wants to battle. That's like the strength of it, but so does this. As long as it gets through like the first couple turns unscathed at the audience chamber, it can do really well. So good game, both players. Bastian wins, moves to 2-0. Dylan will go to 1-1. There will be, obviously in game 3, all the 2-0s will play the 2-0s since there won't be any considerations of matchups. Or side of the force, I should say. So, Dylan left. So this game's wrapping up. Now let's see. We will see what the main channel's up to. We don't want to obviously do the same one. Now let me see. Just want to make sure that I'm not, we don't want to cover the same games for you guys. Do something different. So again, we're still game 2 here, Worlds 2020, the very first heat, called the Euro heat. About half of it is European players, I think 12 or 13 out of the 24 or 25. Actually, I think it's 20, 24. I think this is one of the even ones. There's 2 pods that are going to be odd numbers. But let me check. So there. Looks like they're covering. Let me blow this up, make this larger so I know exactly which. Bad Ewok and Corrin. So I will not cover that game. Looks like there's only 2 others going. So Myers, look at that, Diplo versus ISB, which looks pretty lopsided, and a Hitco versus CCT. We just watched Diplo, so let's do the other one. And that one looks, well, they're both kind of lopsided in terms of force, so let's hop in here. So, wow, a lot of Endor sites on the table. I have not seen this card in a while. So this is Tardis, who is a Irish player in JodoCast, who I'm not sure where he's from, but this one's just about over. Okay, all right, so Lightside just won the audience chamber. They released the prize. It's 23-2 in terms of life force. So that was a big battle. Just had a lot of damage. Looks like 6. Did I come in right as he was peeling? Yeah, wow. Oof, 15 overflow. So that one's done. I'm gonna hop out of that. There's no way with 2 life force anything can happen. So I'm gonna bounce out, go to this one. So the other stream, again, multi-Twitch channel, so this is a pretty cool thing that Twitch allows for. You just have to type multitwitch.tv/ SWPC, SWCCGPC, and then whatever other names. So you can watch multiple games at once. You can kind of go in and out and see, oh, this one looks closer than that one, or do whatever. So I'll do that. I don't think we have anyone else on the schedule for a little bit. Dan is commentating with Kuhn, and they started right at 4 a.m. my time. That's 1 a.m. Dan's time, and for Kuhn it's like normal, like 10 a.m. it started. But it looks like Drew might be joining Dan soon, and I was planning to have Ryan Serson on. He said around 8 would be good, so that might. Maybe we'll try to get him in the middle of the game, but if it's kind of, sometimes it's a little tricky with settings and audio, and I don't want to distract from the game trying to get that set up, so maybe it'll be after, but we'll see. Alright, so this game, ISB, yeah, this one also looks inevitable. Polmeyer's really good player, really, wow, looks like he's playing fast. He's very methodical, so, but he's got a lot more on his timer left than the opponent, who I have not played. I don't know who Adam CFC is, but, you know, I don't know if he's a new player, returning player, long-time player, just hasn't played online too much, but regardless, good to have as many people as we do, and so we've got a really good diversity of players across the globe and play styles and whatnot. So, but Paul's in control here. He's got Celebration going. He's forcing drains at Bespin, at Mustafar's Castle, obviously Cantina. He's probably just going to keep avoiding this force of dudes at the Large Moisture Farm. Now he's got Luke. I wouldn't be surprised if this is some crazy battle here. But Myers is obviously he's very good with Hiko. He's also very good with Diplo. I'm intrigued by the fact that he's using Diplo, honestly, because I thought with a lot of the improvements that Hiko got and the susceptibility of Diplo to ISP, usually, I think that matchup, you know, players are equal play skill, usually favors Dark Side a lot. So yeah, here comes Big Battle. Ahsoka. This might cause some overflow in the game. I don't know if he has like a leadership, but Dark's Battle Destinies are -1. Tarkin can cancel, but there's going to be a lot of battle damage difference here. Okay, so he's got leadership, so he's going to get second, which Tarkin won't be able to cancel. And then he'll be able to add 1, 2, 3, 4 to it, so this might be the game right here. And then with this, the round will wrap up. And we'll probably play pairings, and then maybe within another 3, 4, 5 minutes, game 3 will start. So Dark Side draws pretty low. That's just a 1. So yeah, unless he has a Gick in that 1-card hand, this is going to be the game. He's only covering up to 25. He's going to peel 11, which is everything. So it's Gick or game. I'm updating, as you guys can see, I'm updating the matchups ahead of our next matchup, which will probably be a 2-0-2-0, but maybe not. I'll update the game. Yeah, so he's peeling. So this is done. So good game, both players. This is going to be game 3. And we'll zip out of here. So I imagine they're all done. There's one going. It is the game that the main channel is covering. Okay, so there's nothing else to cover. I'm going to shut down for a little bit, put an away message, and then we'll be back in a few minutes once this is all done. And actually, I'm just going to pop in just to see the timers. It is 17:12 in Life Force. I just want to see how close it is, how much time we got. So 10:25, so it wasn't letting us time out soon. Life Force kind of equal. Wow. Okay, this one might not end immediately. Okay, so I'm gonna go away until the next round. So thanks everyone for tuning in. This was game 2, Bastian versus Timo, or Zlorfik versus